Like
Yeah, but you've
Who the
always
fuck
been-
was that guy?
You were always.
Iceman.
Don't trust
Thomas.
that ice. We don't know who that fucking was. That was Steve Levy, everybody.
Steve Levy.
Love it or leave it.
My eyes keep going to this guy's face. You're having a terrible time. You're here as a captive, right? I mean, and certainly your worst
He's
nightmares.
not talking to you, Deadpool. Give me a break. You're in heaven.
You talking to the guy in the Yankees hat here? What's your name,
Yeah,
sir?
it's Deadpool's uncle. Or,
What's your name, sir? Anthony. Anthony, are you here because you like Comic-Con kind of things, or like?
we promise we will not make fun of you if you tell us the objective, actual story of how you got here, because I can tell it is not by being a fan of mine. And so I just want to know the step-by-step story of how you ended up at this show.
Are you with Deadpool here? Is he a relation of yours?
So, just so everybody knows, his face is.
That's not. There's a little. No, it's this. He's a good sport, and it's not his fault. Also, there's I think there's a light hitting your face.
Yeah, you're like one of the only people who's lit.
Yeah, you're like.
Are you in the theater? Because you're really finding your light right now. Your name, sir? Anthony.
Anthony.
He told us.
And this is your son?
Deadpool.
Anthony Jr. So Anthony and Anthony. Anthony the third. So you're Anthony Jr. Are you? And Anthony, you dragged your father here. Is he enjoying himself?
Clearly.
That's how I am.
Say what? 71 years old. Fantastic.
And you're proud of your son. You're proud.
Now, I'm 45. How does it feel to get to an age that gets applause? That's got to be a little weird threshold. I was recently, I just crossed a threshold where a waitress came to me. I was sitting by myself, and I ordered a beer, and she said, "Can I see some ID?" And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, "No discriminating, right?" And she was just like, she's like 25 and she's just having the time of her life. She's just like, that would be hilarious if I carded Ian McKellen. I just realized, and she walked away and I was like, wow, I don't mind dying. I don't want to be 25 again. I remember it was very, very difficult, and I'm okay, but it is just odd to watch, monitor these milestones. You said your age, and then everyone applauded. The subtext was, you made it.
Your father's 96. Wow.
Oh, your dad's still alive? He's 96?
Yeah, but see, no applause for that shit. No.
At 71, I'd be applauding that because he's like a genetic, he's carving the way for you. My patriarchs kind of, we don't know how biologically what their expiration date is. They tend to take themselves out with with cigarettes and things, not with not Hemingway style. I just mean they use the world around them. They don't just sit there and try to avoid dying. They kind of oh, that looks good.
I'm sorry.
What?
What? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Dan.
We brought him into the show.
I know.
Sorry
about
your son.
Dan doesn't have a son, and neither does Rob, and neither does Jeff, and neither do I. And it was directed towards us.
You guys are obviously pretty close then. Yeah. That's cool. You and your son can go out.
Well, Anthony Jr., how old are you? I'm in the 30s. Okay. He's very trepidatious. I'm sorry. I didn't. He's wearing a Deadpool mask. He's
wearing a mask.
I'm over 20. It's perfectly fine here. You're fine here. I think no one's he's in his 30s and he's dressed as Deadpool at a convention. This is where we come to escape that kind of pressure. Yeah, well, I mean, she affected me. He said the bartender would have
torn down his
It did affect me. I remembered it. We're all we all get hit. All of our buttons get mashed at different times. I think the objective is is you get this big keyboard of buttons, and like I think you want them all lit up before you die, and like the ones that aren't lit up yet, the first time they get pushed, it's like Jesus Christ, they go from not lit up to lit up, and it's a monumental event, and sometimes that's traumatic. It almost always is traumatic. How many of them are just eating your first chocolate bar? There's like 5 of those. The rest of them are trauma based, and then you're like, oh God, that happened. But then people can just put beers down on those buttons. They're already lit up. They don't toggle. They don't go off. It's called scarring. And I think the objective is to like try to like get and I think to extend the metaphor, I don't think you're able to like really push most of them. I think like most of those buttons are only accessible because other people have to push them. They have to do with other people.
Didn't you carry around like a towel like Arthur Dent for a long time?
Yes.
When you were younger?
Yes, I did. Yes, I was very into Hitchhiker's Guide, and when I was
so it's kind of like
middle school.
Yeah, Deadpool.
Little late to be so into something that you actually have a towel that you carry around. But I went to a public junior high, and there wasn't a lot to distract me from. Yeah.
I didn't dress like Doctor Who. I dressed as like my version of Doctor Who. Like I had a USA cap, and I would wear 4 scarves, cut off jeans, 2 different pairs of shoes.
4 scarves?
Yeah.
What do you mean 2 different pairs of shoes? You mean one? You mean a mismatched pair of shoes?
A mismatched.
Like Punky Brewster.
Yeah, I would
basically.
put them on my hands and feet. Yeah, no. And
I thought maybe they were side by side.
And a Hawaiian shirt,
like
and
T-Rex cop with a Whoopi Goldberg thing.
Yeah, and I would walk out. I would walk home from school, and my mom would meet me with this look.
Why are you so well lit? Are you the devil?
I don't know.
He's got this awesome.
He's holding a bounce
He looks
board
like
or something.
He's about to he's the third act like of a horror movie. That's what's about to happen.
He's like Highlander. He's like the beginning of Highlander when they push in during the wrestling game. Like the wrestling game. The wrestling game.
Who here? Let's continue this streak. It's a very nice energy. It's an intimate energy. Who here wants to share their actually come up here, take the mic, and share their story of when they crossed the threshold into alienation, isolation, nerd culture, when there was no longer any hope of assimilation. We've got lots of.
Let's make it a gal because we have enough dudes up here. Anybody? You miss right there. What's your name? Isabelle. Let's welcome Isabelle down to the stage. Isabelle. See if you can make it down without destroying the place like Rob when he came down.
It was gonna be great if it would have went off like rehearsal.
Did you want to fall down the stairs?
No, nobody wants to fall down.
Well,
the
you do
stairs.
stuff like that.
Isabelle,
falling?
everybody.
Well, when I became into this culture, my dad actually brought me into this culture.
Uh-oh.
He took you to a planetarium show and let you dress as Deadpool, and it was all downhill from there.
But that means he can take you out of this culture.
I brought you into this culture.
Yeah,
I can take you out.
My dad started introducing me to Buffy, everything I know. Oh, even Doctor Who. Oh, I go to.
It's a good show. It's a good show, right? Who's your favorite doctor?
My favorite doctor is Matt Smith, who I actually met.
Very good. Very good.
I
Good doctor.
pretty much, I met everyone I know from cons every now and then.
Are you old school?
Old school? I been to Icon. That's an old school con.
No, I meant like old school Doctor Who.
Yeah, I watched old school Doctor Who a couple of times.
What do you mean by icon?
Icon is a convention,
Oh, okay.
and it's
For optometrists.
it used to be held all the way out in I believe it's Stony Brook. Yeah. I haven't been there since I was 6, so.
But you felt
Oh,
welcomed when you were in that that world.
So there's
right?
your
met
dad,
your people.
your
Yes.
dad started taking you to kind of conventions like this. That was like and he was a Buffy fan. Is that what?
Yeah, he was Buffy. He was, I'm trying to think, Star Wars, Star Trek. I'm trying to think of other stuff.
So he's our age.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have Isabelle's by now. if we were adults, if we lived anywhere but Los Angeles, we would have lovely human beings that are joining the world as we fade. But instead we're buying Teslas to try to hide our bald spot.
Dad, by the way.
What's that?
You actually met my dad.
I met your dad.
Yeah, he was the photographer.
He was a photographer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he was saying how excited you were. I got the impression that you weren't able to be here, because he was like,
No.
my daughter would be thrilled or whatever. Like he was taking pictures in there, they're doing signing.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was the main guy taking pictures.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you remember that feeling of like going to a convention and all of a sudden like it was like oh is it? Do you think it was more like the absence of the kinds of things you felt walking in the halls of your school, where you were like, there's just like it's like this chiropractic ergonomic pressure. You're like, I can't do nothing right around here. Like if I answer a question, even though I know the answer, I know I'm gonna do it wrong. I'm gonna get laughed at somehow. Or there's just like everything is like, geez, you feel like it's like the world is covered in half full glasses at this table, and every gesture you make knocks 3 of them over, and you desperately don't want to, so then you start gesturing differently, and then that's funny. And then you go to, for me it was Gen Con in Milwaukee, like which was there was just role playing and based D&D and stuff, but it was just like, oh God, to see grown men and women wearing ridiculous armor and but actually, so my mom took me to stuff before that. I think my mom knew. She's like, this kid collects stickers. He's not gonna be a football star. And what's the state of your parents' marriage like historically?
They're together.
I'm not trying to pick up her mom. They've been together the whole time?
Yeah, they've been together. They got married right before I was born, so.
That's how it's usually supposed to work. Right?
They had my brother was first, then my mom met my dad, so.
Okay. What's your mom's relationship with the nerd stuff?
She goes to it every now and then just to hold the stand.
Is that a reference to a chuppah from a Jewish
No,
wedding?
no.
She's doing her part. Hold the stand.
No, she holds the stand for photography.
She literally holds the light stand. I thought it was like a.
I heard hold the standard like it's a battle. Like if this man shall fall, who will pick up the standard?
But is your mom kind of like, and you let me know whenever I'm prying or whenever I'm gonna like exploit horrible, deep-seated personality conflicts within your family unit and cause a breakup. But so your dad's a nerd? Let's just put it that way. Is your mom like not a nerd? Is she like?
I think she's like, she watches murder mystery shows, so she's
yeah.
that type of nerd.
There's a good crossover there, like
Yeah.
true crime stuff. I find like like my girlfriend's not into sci-fi and fantasy necessarily. She's into what me being happy, but like at the same time, like she's not gonna by default want to watch a shitty like Gil Gerard is an astronaut in prison. Like but I don't like rom-coms, but like we both like real life murder. Because it's sort of like as extreme as normal life gets, and I think that's why I like sci-fi, is because it heightens everything. It stains human relationships with iodine. Because every story on Star Trek is like, well, what is good and what is evil? It's too nuanced in 27 dresses to like I'm not gonna taste every nook and cranny of what Kate Hudson's going through, but like I like a guy to go like, there's an octopus monster on the poop deck of the Starfleet, and he only tastes fear, and he says you have a choice between killing someone you love and powering your rocket boots. And I go, okay, now now I can break this down into rules and cope. What grade are you in?
I'm going into 12th right now.
Oh, wow. So you're almost out.
Yeah, I'm finally almost out.
What are you going to do? What are you interested in? Or do you hate that question?
I'm thinking of going for U.S. history. So.
Oh,
Nice.
Wow. That you're going to be like a keeper. Like you're going to be the only person that knows we did this before.
Is there a certain period in history? Is there a certain era or time or place that you are most fascinated with?
I'm pretty much fascinated with all of U.S. history.
I find myself thinking about the 1930s a lot lately. I don't know why. I just find
Not necessarily a fan, but just it keeps
yeah.
in the forefront.
I don't know. I keep running it over in my head. I
So-
I only learned so much.
Your dad's a photographer, and your mother is. Does she do anything creative as well?
She does dialysis. That's only what she does.
Like she needs
that I know of.
dialysis, or she
And
provides
she does take
dialysis?
photos too.
They're both photographers.
She's a freelance dialysis technician.
She's not licensed, but
Yeah. She has a,
in
she has a-
Nevada you don't have to be.
she
So
has
she
a
does
food
it over the
truck
phone.
outside.
No, your mom actually that's like her specialty. She administrates dialysis. Like she
Yeah,
puts the needle in
believe
and
so.
watches the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I remember seeing some like what was there you watch that John Oliver show on HBO? They
think
did
I
a segment
have.
on dialysis, like and how it's like just as an industry, like dialysis for money, and how it's like big dialysis, like people
I think my mom might have. So.
yeah. She I can't remember anything about it except it freaks me out the idea that there's a whole industry where we get our blood changed to like Jiffy Lube.
Well, they're probably like stocking your good blood and giving you back like used blood, right?
So do you want to be a teacher?
Sprite blood.
Oh,
Bunch of Sprite blood.
I wish if we could be so lucky to have Sprite blood.
Aren't you a little bit?
Sprite
aren't you a little bit
sucks.
scared?
Sprite's good.